Hi friends! This is Dainty Tang. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to Fatal 12. This is part 19 in the series. I looked it up. Be proud of me. And so we're not gonna even do things. There's stuff, poke things. Yeah. At this point, you know the thing. You know what we're here for. You know what we're queer for. End of Pride Month coming up in the next 2 playthroughs. Sad, but it's okay. Hopefully the world is a little bit safer for Pride next year. So with that, let's keep going. Load. Yeah, so last we left off we were with Miharu, and Miharu is following number 9 to a bar. Eventually they reach a bar in Shinjuku's Kabuki district named Milk Crown. You know, those milk crowns. It's not the sort of place one should enter in a school uniform, but Miharu seems unfazed, likely thanks to her job working at a maid cafe. Miharu doesn't care. Miharu figures he would not betray her right away, but she quickly realizes how wrong that assumption is. Didn't you say you were gonna bring another accomplice? The hell's with her then? Oh. Hold on. I know that face. Why are you here? They're the only customers in the small bar. Oh, goodness, this is bad. Both are already drinking something. One drink is the color of oak, and the other is pink. Of course, Frederico has pink. Miharu is used to serving alcohol at her job, so she can tell that one is whiskey and the other is some sort of cocktail. Makes sense, whiskey on ice. That's a good, 4-finger whiskey on ice, too. Granted, their drinks are inconsequential to the situation at hand. Both parties expected number 9's accomplice to be someone unrelated to divine selection, it seems. I'll explain it later. Oh. I'll explain later. He whispers to Miharu, although she has already gotten a general grasp of the situation. Wanna explain yourself, Steel? You know full well that Hibana and Miharu's our enemy. Shut it, Federico. How come you always get so worked up? Damn it, Odette. Don't call me by my real name when you're using a fake one for Steel. My apologies. Monsieur Carminati. Oh, that's the whole card. Yep. You're gonna pay for that. Sorry about the racket, young lady. I'm Odette Malincon. That's giving over cards. I'm very confused. Gotta admit, wasn't expecting to meet you here. Us too were minding our own business when the guy came up to us and asked to cooperate. Scale. What do you think you two were doing? You ain't got no right to say that. Your name's Miharu, right? You sure took me by surprise way back when. I'm not quite sure how to respond to that, Madame Malincon. Looks like the situation's taking you by surprise, at least. Good enough for me. Let's call it even with that, so have a seat. How about we talk things out over a drink, my treat, and just call me Odette. I'm still a minor, so I'll pass on anything with alcohol. May I have some milk instead? Damn, the high school kids in this country are so uptight. Whatever. Miharu makes her way towards the bar, her heart thumping faster and faster. She may be calm and composed more often than not, but a situation like this does not allow for that. I was about to say, this is nuts. What'd she just step into? Where is that going? Try as she might to find the right way to act, the answer continues to elude her. The information she has committed to memory regarding Odette is of no help either. She is impossible to read face to face. I clicked the button. Okay, there we go. Steel does not control this situation. She does. Yeah. Anyway, now we can get... now we know you're not some broad who looks like Miharu. It was a feint. But I noticed the light shining in your bag. You should have both of our name cards now. Is that what the whole charade was for? No way. Ain't that right, Steel? Scale. Putting me in a tricky spot, aren't you? Haha. You're the one who brought up cooperation, knowing the only one of us will survive this. Sure, you understand just how critical trust is here. We gave you our names, which is just so happen to be vital to one's success. I assume you know where I'm going with this. Here's your milk. Odette's approach does not feel like she is pressuring anyone. She simply asks in a calm and even tone, all while swirling her glass of whiskey. Miharu takes this as an opportunity to judge her character. She figures that Odette is not all brawn and no brains based on what she heard from Sonia, but she never expected her to be this hearty and talkative. Once Odette hands off the milk, Miharu drips in some syrup and takes a sip. If it's my name you want, it's my name you'll get. That makes life easier. You'd have been our next target if you hesitated now. Christ, how selfish can you get? What would you have done if either of them already had our info? Easy. We'd have uncovered their info before the next election. Anyway, time to spill the beans. Numero 9 takes a deep breath before opening his mouth. Name's Scale Jones. Can't tell you my occupation, but my blood type's O. That good enough for you? That'll do. Miharu's card book shines the moment he reveals his name. Serves as proof he's telling the truth. Cool, but, I'm so confused. There's so much happening right now. What? Odette downs the rest of her whiskey before demanding another glass. That's a lot of whiskey. Miharu may not have had any alcohol before, but she's aware that whiskey is at least 40 proof. Yeah. Smell alone is enough to put off most people her age, but seeing Odette gulp it down without issue gives her a genuine shock. Yo, Frederico, Japan's whiskey ain't bad. Want some? Yeah, Japanese whiskey is actually really good. I actually like whiskey, so. Japanese whiskey is really tasty. Nah, I'm good. Sometimes I just want to enjoy a nice sweet cocktail. Well, mainly because they don't got no good wine here. Maybe I should get something too. Something strong. There's a pang of anxiety in Scale's voice as he orders a drink that Miharu was unfamiliar with. A wave of relief washes over him as he takes a swig, seeing that Miharu comes to understand what people mean when they say they need a drink to get by. No normal person could keep up with someone like Odette. Federico seems to be hiding in her shadow, but he's not normal either. Based on how composed he is despite being around her, Miharu keeps her mind occupied in this manner as a means to keep her wits about her. I don't know how he managed to drag you all this way, but I assume you get the gist of things based on people gathered here. That guy's using this as a way to see who's worth teaming up with. Talk about twisted. Thank you for the warning, but there's no need to worry. I'm aware of his tactics. You didn't gather us here to eliminate numero 4. So I assume our target is none other than Alan Scorpion, correct? Spectacular. He seems to be enjoying himself more than he was a few moments ago. Miharu can't help but wonder if the alcohol has started to do its job already. What is going on? Me and Odette, so Federico. We're back to Federico. Me and Odette were staying at a hotel in Japan when the 6th election took place. It's the first time we came out of an election without any eliminations. Talk about unusual. Guess we couldn't do much about it considering the circumstances. I'd make a decent recovery since that kid did a number on me. I wasn't completely better yet, though. Making a recovery to me just meant that I could move around again. So, what happened to that kid's card at the end there? Like I said, it disappeared. Don't know how when it was one of my starting cards, but it did. Chances are it happened during the 5th election, just before the old man got eliminated. Same thing seems to have happened to Alan as well, although it was after he eliminated him. Alan Scorpion. It wasn't hard for us to find out his name because he's world-famous jeweler. But that's literally all we could find out. Neither of us started out with any of his cards either. The current discussion was about how one of Odette's cards disappeared, which tied to him. After he eliminated Old Man Shigetsugu, he obtained number 4's regret card, and yet that card shattered the moment he reached out to grab it. My card dissipated the exact same way his did. I don't know how many other people had number 4's cards, but odds are all but the cause of death card have disappeared. The only thing I can think of is that the contents changed. I get how a name can change, but the regret? That's got me puzzled. Especially when you consider that everyone's personal perception plays a big part in the rules of divine selection. Curious about the whole no-name thing before that, too. Did they just not have a name? That one's simple. They either never had the chance to be named by their parents, or they ditched their past and old name. The former is pretty common for war orphans. Ditch their past. Some people would adopt new names after doing such a thing in my line of business too. Oh, my computer's heating up. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hear fans. Ah! 1 second. Click. There we go. Okay, sorry, I had to click off of the screen. Whew. Wait, that explains things. I came up with a possible answer all on my own. Number 4 was probably given a name during divine selection, one that they considered to be their true name. Odette usually reached conclusions based on situational evidence, but it looked like I was picking up that habit as well. Couldn't say I was too big on it, but judging by her expression, we were thinking the same thing. Good job, Frederico. Seems like a school here was the target of a terrorist attack recently. When you think about it, plenty of terrorists work alone. Add in the fact the kids are harder to detect, especially here in Japan, and it ain't no coincidence, huh? We might be at some kind of deadlock for the moment, but we could still make some sort of progress. Even if we didn't do anything crazy, someone else was more than willing to step up. As if to prove that, the very same day, we got an unexpected visitor. Numeral 9. Some suspicious American calling himself Steel. Thanks, Frederico. Super helpful backstory. Alan Scorpion's elimination. Miharu brings up the topic as frankly as possible. Wouldn't you assume number 9 to be our first target based on recent events? No, number 4 to be... Yeah, number 4 to be the first target based on recent events. Perhaps. His actions serve as a means to provoke us, so it's hard not to take notice. But you all made it clear that you have no intention of letting him provoke you. You're a bit too sharp for my tastes. Never was one for dating girls as smart as you. But hey, I won't complain about a night or two. She's a minor, you creep. How about you quit talking crap and learn a thing or two from her? Get it! Odette understands. Moving on. So far, Alan has instigated the most elections out of all of us. Chances are, he has the most cards too. That's why it's ideal for all of us to team up and deal with him. Am I right, Scale? It's common knowledge that he was able to turn his jewelry business into a worldwide operation all on his own. His actions early on during the Divine Selection, coupled with his celebrity status, have led to Japan's police force keeping their eyes on him. Trespassing, obstruction of business, that sort of stuff. He's a real criminal to them. But here's the thing. He's got connections with both the Indian and Japanese governments through his company. His influence isn't big enough for him to outright ignore him, but they're making sure the police have their hands tied. That ain't all. His information network's probably the trickiest part about him. Pretty much. If he knows your name, then you might as well give in to the fact that he probably knows your entire background as well. You're lucky that I'm the one who scouted you all out. Might want to act a bit more careful from now on. Yeah. As if you don't got any good sources of your own. I'd prefer if you didn't compare me to someone with a conglomerate behind him. Thank you very much. I like that you ain't denying it. Well, whatever. If you're gonna cooperate, then knowing each other's names is a bare minimum condition for me. I am sure you're aware of what'll happen if you try and pull anything funny, too. Scale grimaces over that provocation before taking another sip of his drink. He must have anticipated the open threat. After he gulps his drink, he shifts the topic. Now then, chances are Alan will end up coming out of this whole thing as the winner if we let him keep at it. That's what I think, at least. There's no justice in someone like him winning. As I said, he's nothing but a criminal now. Let's not even get into the things he's probably done to get where he is now. He's a villain, no doubt about it. He's rather into this, isn't he? Miharu whispers to herself quietly, so Scale could not hear her. He doesn't seem to be lying about his belief that participants either do or don't deserve to make it through Divine Selection. The irony is that he's willing to team up with people like Odette and Frederico. Miharu is unsure how things will play out down the line, but right now, she can at least keep a watchful eye on him. We can't let someone like Alan run wild, especially after what number 4 pulled. Alan's likely to target him now. Should he succeed, he'll have yet another card at his disposal. Letting him gain even more of an advantage only spells disaster for us. That's why we need to work together to eliminate him now. So you say, but you're struggling to get any meaningful information on him, aren't you? That's part of it, yeah. Few people know what he was up to when we all kicked the bucket. And he's made sure that those who would have kept quiet about it. I can't do this on my own. That's why I approached you. Must suck to have Frederico call you out on something. You sure you want to partner up with us after all that talk about justice and such? Your card book didn't react when we told you our names, so you must have gotten a hold of them at some point. Probably around the time you came to our hotel. You came to their hotel? Just like, hey yo. I can only assume you know everything about our backgrounds and how, well, villainous we are. Crap, seriously? Frederico is so... Oh my god. Like I said, we're only cooperating in order to eliminate Alan Scorpion and number 4. I've already come to accept that this is a necessary evil. I'll make it perfectly clear. We're not here to make friends. You two are my targets after those other two are gone. I'm sure you were thinking the same about me. Sounded like a proper villain yourself with that line, bud. Mind if you ask where that young lady falls in regards to all this? Miharu listens in bewilderment. To her, it sounds like the alcohol has caused them to discuss things completely unrelated to the topic at hand. I would appreciate if you settled your little squabble over whether or not you'll be cooperating without me first. Miharu may have succumbed to Odette's threatening nature at first, but it was only a matter of time before she settled down. Their light-hearted conversation is a likely contribution. She holds nothing but fear for them in the court of fate, but here they seem like normal people. Try not to tease Scale too much, Odette. I'm starting to feel sorry for him. Oh, you caught on? Is that what you call a woman's intuition? Heh. You're a bit younger than I imagined, but plenty mature. How about we ditch these losers and go somewhere else? Oh my god, you're so sleazy, Frederico. Miharu takes a step back upon hearing his proposition. Words aren't necessary when her expression shows the answer. You're a dumbass, you know that? Well, can't blame you for thinking she's probably got the moves. Anyway, I ain't against partnering up, just wanted to call you out for contradicting yourself. Hate to admit it, we're also struggling. You're a lot more troublesome in person than I imagined, madam. So now we're officially partners until we eliminate Alan. Let's save making a plan of attack for later. So you'll deal with another round. You want something yet, Miharu? I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask that you also swallow something other than alcohol first. Miharu holds out her empty glass with a bold smile. Odette does not seem too bothered, but both Federico and Scale obviously are. Their expressions are full of worry over what she will say next. I happen to know Alan's cause of death. It was part of my initial set. You what? For real? You may have reliable information networks at your disposal, but it's not enough to counter the advantage I have in already possessing the card itself. Guess we've got to swallow your conditions first, huh? Fine, go ahead. Indeed. If we're going to cooperate, then I ask that we target numeral 4 first. Scale is already aware of this, but it was the Amichia's Girls University High School that was targeted. My school. There are only one casualty as a result, but it also just happened to be an underclassman I knew. So what? You'll tell us Alan's cause of death if we help you eliminate the kid? Miharu nods. Damn. Hurts to imagine a cutie like you could have revenge on your mind. Ugh, he's so creepy! Federico, why? I'm fairly sure she isn't seeking revenge here, Federico. Should a participant be eliminated, their action since the start of divine selection will be undone. It's one of the rules. Yep, I was wondering if that was going to come into play. Like, we haven't really seen it in a big effect yet. Because no one has directly caused someone else's death. But if they eliminate number 4 and you ceases to exist, you can't have bombed the school. Because you will have... But there's a whole thing there. Because Yu's cause of death is directly related to the bomb going off. And then the fire, like, sucking him out of the train. Which means... Yeah, no matter what, the explosion went off, or had to have gone off, which means that both Naomi and Rinka will have been injured from it. Right? Right? Okay, anyways, going off into that tangent. You're looking to bring your friend back through eliminating him, aren't you? You're free to interpret my interactions however you wish. Count me in. There are fewer things more just than wanting to save a friend. Number 4's actions undoubtedly make him evil. All we're trying to do is changing the order in which we do things. The reason why his regret card disappeared remains a mystery, but I get the feeling that the 4 of us can get past that. Thoughts of that? It'll take a bit longer overall, but we're guaranteed to get our hands on Alan's cause of death while eliminating another participant at the same time. Do you consider the possibility of us turning you down? I considered it wasn't likely. Scale's decision to leave number 4 for later was likely due to the fact that one of his cards was among those he started with. He wouldn't bring this topic up, topic of his regret card disappearing without a reason after all. At the same time, you don't bring the words. He wouldn't bring up the topic of his regret card disappearing without a reason after all. At the same time, you not bringing it up whatsoever is somewhat suspect. The odds are in Miharu's favor. The rest relies on Odette's reaction. She's not worried about being wrong. If she is, then they will likely assume she's overthinking things. Heh. Odette cracks a smile. Miharu's gamble is a success. That's what Odette's expression says to her. Not only did she have either a name or regret card belonging to you, but she also witnessed it disappear in response to its change of contents. Miharu notices Scale's expression turned far more serious too. She nods to herself with confidence, having confirmed that her suspicions were correct. God, I was trying to read right, but kept on saying correct. It's my aphasia. It's coming in. You're right. I had the kid's name card and saw it disappear with my own eyes. By process of elimination, Scale must have had his regret card. Did you realize this entire scenario is why we were leaving that kid for last, right? We can't act if there's no solid guarantee things will work out. Prioritizing him just ain't gonna happen if you don't have another surprise in store for us. Something like knowing his cause of death. True enough. But hey, I agreed to do this assuming she knew that much. But of course, I don't know his cause of death though. Just his name. Oh ho, now I'm interested. So the name card you had didn't disappear. So that's how it is. You managed to get your hands on the info after the cards vanished, right? Mind telling us where and how you managed to do that? I'm under no obligation to disclose that. However, I will share his name with you all, should you agree to target him first. While we only know his name right now, his actions make him easy to trace. I'd say we're in a much better position to gather the rest of his information than Alan is. Miharu casts an overt glance over to Scale. Scale seems to comprehend the meaning behind it immediately. Leave that to me. I figured we'd be starting with his cause of death, but this actually makes things easier. Plenty of journalists are looking into that cause on their own, so this should serve as good bargaining chip. You're fine with that, right? Miharu offers another nod. She's not quite sure just how much she can trust him, but he has already proven his ability to gather information by uncovering Odette and Frederico's names. Sucks that I don't get to stick it to that annoying bastard right away, but it ain't like we've got anything to work with. Let's go with our plan for now. Count me in too. Looks like all your effort was worth it. I'll take that as a compliment. Thus, Miharu shares number 4's name with the 3 of them. She also reevaluates her opinions of them. Scale is undoubtedly hiding something. His true intentions being a mystery leads her to that conclusion. He may be suspicious, but the things he told her when they first met seem to be the truth. Yet he Yet he still chose to team up with Odette and Federico. Federico himself lets Odette do all the work, but he's a sharp one regardless. Is he? To me, he's as sharp as a hammer. He's also the type of person whose actions are hard to predict. Yeah? Specifically, if he snaps at some point, what he would do is anyone's guess. Facts. As for Odette, she speaks for herself. She saw right through Miharu's nerves during their exchange. As much as she tried to look calm and composed, Odette spoke of her effort involved in doing so. She knew. It's important not to slip when talking to her, but Miharu now understands that focusing on that too much can be just as dangerous. Well, let's drink up, troops. Are you for real? Oh well, I'm in. Following that, Miharu exchanges phone numbers with Scale. While hesitant at first, she ultimately goes through with it after realizing she can cancel her phone contract if necessary. With that done, she leaves the bar before the others begin to celebrate. If one thing surprised her, it was her ability to engage with them at their level. At the same time, it fueled her determination to cooperate with them. It's the only way she can accomplish her goal. It's the only way she can help Rinka smile again. Aww. Speaking of Rinka. Spent all of yesterday in my room. There's no food left in the house, so I need to trudge over to the convenience store today. It's raining outside. The rainy season just started, so there will be plenty more in the days to come. Oh. That's in a line. Also, why are we back in the bar? Miharu hasn't spoken to Rinka ever since Naomi's funeral. She recognizes that she lacks the ability to fill the gaping hole left in Rinka's heart. Of course, she wants to spend every possible second with her, if at all possible. Simply being there with her isn't enough for Miharu, though. Her greatest desire involves Rinka's happiness itself. She truly believes that her actions will protect Rinka in her current state. That's why Scale's proposition was such welcome news. All four likely had their own convictions, but that's fine. It doesn't change the fact that she still considers them targets to eliminate. One day later, Scale makes contact with Miharu. He said he would be spending some time looking into his background, so she started to wonder if he had found something already. It was going to be going a lot faster than anticipated either way. He denied it in the dream world, but he really might be a detective. Of course, it's equally possible that he failed to find anything of note. In that case, figuring out a quick solution is the best way to go. So, you have to meet at a bar? Okay. Yo. Good timing. We were waiting for you. Drinks are on me today. Everyone is already drinking by the time she arrives. Miharu finds herself questioning why adults find it necessary to drink this much. She gets that these are the kinds of people who need to drink to talk things out properly. That's why she opts to accept the offer and orders some milk. They only serve espressos here, apparently, and Miharu turns down the offer. She's still hoping that next time she drinks coffee, it will be Rinka's. Can we try and keep this short, please? I'm not too fond of how long the conversation drags on when we're all drinking. No mercy from you, huh? Well, I gathered everyone just for drinks. Bring some good news to the table as well. What kind of good news? As I anticipated, plenty of journalists are looking into what that you kid did at your school. Gotta wonder what'll happen to all your work if we eliminate him, though. Will it change to a completely different scoop? Who cares? Get to the point. What'd you manage to find out? Well, it seems like there's a direct connection between what happened at Amicia and the terrorist organization Null. Doesn't make him completely unconnected, though. There's apparently a group that shares the same ideals. They claim to be Noel's Japan branch. They did play a part. You said yesterday that he was affiliated with Noel in some matter. How did you find this much out just one day? Use something like a code name, right? We're the only ones who know this, so it serves as a solid bargaining chip. The entire conversation has taken a toll on Miharu's sense of reality. Hearing about things like this makes her feel like she's playing a part in some fictional story. Heh. Fourth wall break there. Their ideals and goals are irrelevant. They're not directly related to you, though. What's important is the information about you himself. So that was your idea of foreplay, huh? Might as well get to the main event now. I still don't know much about you, but it seems like the young boy joined the ranks of Noel's Japan branch this spring. He's a former mercenary who was born in a war zone. Seems there's an organization in that place that could gather up orphans, raise them as child soldiers. They bought him from there. He's well versed in all manners of weapons and tears through battlefields with little emotion. Some refer to him as Sagittarius the Swift. Now that reeks. The kid was probably inducted to a local organization as some kind of payment. Back on topic, though. Guess he's got some kind of grudge against Japan, so he volunteered himself. Or, so they say. But get this, apparently Noel's Japan branch weren't even in the market for any new soldiers. All they did was buy a puppet willing to throw away its life for them. Where did this information come from? Sorry, but I'm going to keep that to myself. Don't want to risk you two chasing down my sources. Well, yeah, we get it. You're in charge of info, and we're in charge of the heavy lifting, right? That makes me question my place here. No need. It's you who got us to act in the first place. There's plenty of merit in it to your involvement. Skill gives her a quick wink. It only serves to annoy Miharu, prompting her avert her eyes with a huff. He went for a meteor, right? Why'd he bother with a place like that? I was going to bring that up next. Seems like the organization didn't order him to go there. It's best to assume he had an accomplice based on how he infiltrated the school and the amount of explosives he brought in, but it was his sole choice to do so. His infiltration method involved wearing the Amici school uniform to blend in. While he did stand out due to his appearance, no one doubted that he was a girl. It was an act so bold that, in turn, seemed perfectly natural. Ain't much of an organization when your people run around and do whatever they please. Speaking of which, there was that one case toward the end of last month. They found suspicious object on the Yamanote line. Is that related in any way? Nice deduction. You should be able to figure out why there's so much info about them available by now. The reason nothing came from that is because there was a traitor in the organization. Someone volunteered to commit terrorist acts, but none followed through. Investigations into them kicked off behind the scenes thanks to that. Most of the central members have been arrested as a result. The organization's taken a massive hit. The news has been kept under wraps to avoid stirring up the public, as well as to prevent possible retaliation. This is a whole information dump. The whole debacle's damaged Noel's reputation. Not much of a surprise, though. The organizations must have reached a breaking point for a traitor to pop up. But who knows what triggered it. Seems like you're getting to the important part of your story, though. Yep, there's more. Seems like there were plans to bomb the Yamanote line before the case I just mentioned. Said plan got delayed when the person they wanted to carry it out vanished. Uh-huh. Miharu can already tell where he's going with this. The nature of the conversation still feels odd, but she finds herself able to follow along well enough. Scale takes another sip of his drink before presenting his conclusion. I think it's likely the person who vanished was you. The plan was to be carried out during the first week of May, just after Golden Week. It's no coincidence that it overlaps with the beginning of Divine Selection. Damn, you dug up a big treasure for us, didn't ya? You even went and revealed his cause of death. Gotta admit, I wasn't expecting him to be a suicide bomber. Their exchange doesn't seem to make sense on the surface, but Miharu is able to place the pieces as they talk. Then again, anyone would be able to put two and two together after hearing this much. If he blew himself up, then it only makes sense that what he did got undone as well. Guess the explosion itself is what killed him. Either that, or the fire. Oh, there we go. Line spews from Frederico's card book, followed by Odette's and Miharu's, resulting in a new card for each. It's only been a single day since they began to cooperate, but they have already discovered Yu's cause of death. It's cause for joy, but even more than that, surprise. Miharu was just as surprised as the others, albeit not entirely for the same reasons. Wednesday, May 2nd. The very day Miharu and Rinka, along with all of the other participants, lost their lives. The day fate itself was altered. Rinka had told Miharu the general gist of what she did that day. She never mentioned her direct cause of death, but Miharu made sure to ask Naomi, who was with Rinka that day, about details a few days later. Naomi was obviously frightened by Miharu's threatening attitude, but she did talk about her dreams when she and Rinka were caught up in a fire while on the train. Miharu feels nothing but guilt over how she treated Naomi at that time, but it's too late for that now. Regardless, Rinka's death was through suffocation. Miharu learned this after eliminating Sonia and obtaining that card. As much as it pained Miharu to imagine Rinka's death, she used that card together with what Naomi had told her to reach the conclusion that smoke from the fire caused Rinka to suffocate. However, part of her conjunction was incorrect, she now realizes. It was no accident. Rinka was a victim of Yu's terrorist attack. What's up, Miharu? You look awfully pale. Sorry, I use the Yamanote line frequently, so it's hard to shake the image of people dying on it. Miharu does all she can to maintain composure, but her expression shows hints of anger. You took not only Naomi's life, but Rinka's as well. She cannot forgive him for that. I get what you mean. Lord knows what drove him to do it, but the fact of the matter is that he's pure evil. We can't let someone like him run amok. Hell, now I'm glad you had us prioritize him. Shh. I'd have all three of his cards already if the other two hadn't disappeared. Well, the main issue now is his regret. We wouldn't have figured out his cause of death as quick as you, but it's the only matter of time before we did. Don't have any leads on that, I'm afraid. Then we've got two approaches. One, find someone who knows him and have them spill it. And as for two, we go and get it straight from the horse's mouth. Odette grins from ear to ear before downing the remainder of her drink. Hopefully, they don't go after Rinka. Miharu takes a bit of a detour and heads over to the Lion House. Yeah, let's leave this here. I hope you're having fun with this. This is interesting. This new collaboration is very interesting, and this was an info dump. Oh my goodness. It was just straight reading through while they drank and discussed things. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I hope you're having fun. I hope you subscribe and hang out with me soon. And we'll talk again. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!